Hello, everyone, and a very warm good evening to all of you. Welcome to Season of Agents, a virtual event dedicated to exploring the dynamic world of intelligent agents, automation, and the future of AI powered productivity. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Ms. Yeshika Sharma, ma'am, who is a senior security signatures engineer at Qualys, as our expert speaker. She will guide us through the practical steps of crafting our first AI agent using Microsoft Azure and stuff. So, welcoming you, ma'am, and you can carry on with your session now. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much for such a sweet introduction, Sudhanshu. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whichever region you have been joined with. So, let's straight away get into the topic of this season. And what we have is, or more or less, I would say, let's get into the Microsoft AI tour. So, this time we will be working with the different agents, the hot topic currently going on, which is artificial intelligence and their modules, and coming forward from the conversational chat platforms. The artificial intelligence used to give us, uh, what can we say, the conversational input based on text. Usually, we used to have a conversational uh, with with the chatbots. The basic example that came in for the first time. So let's hop on to this simple tour and what we have to dig in. Okay. So today I will be discussing about how we can utilize Azure, how Azure is providing us capabilities to create our own agents, AI agents. And since I am currently working as a security engineer, so elements to understand the security is necessary while we work with the artificial intelligence. That needs to go hand in hand to have a secure platform where you can work along without even stressing out that some other element will get into your agents and entire database that you have connected to that agent could get exploited. Okay, so now, the Azure AI agent service. These four words, like literally the four words that are being showcased. Azure is providing us the platform, the resources, capabilities, which we can get hold on by creating a simple account. And we have multiple services, resources available to cater and create our own agents. And agents is nothing base, it is basically a streamlined tool that you'll be creating, you'll be guiding through processes, instructions, and steps to get hold on and create your simple tasks, basic tasks automated automatically. This is being provided utilizing multiple resources that is applicable. One of those that we'll be utilizing or looking forth will be Azure AI Foundry. Utilizing this AI Foundry, we can add on all the elements that are required for the building of your agents or utilizing the services that agents provide. Entire package at one place. That will be the AI Foundry. Okay, so the key components, or let's say the touch base for today's talk, are listed and showcased. So first, we'll be heading towards AI Hub in a Azure AI Foundry, and then we'll be catching up with the details of what all generative pre-trained transformers we can create. If you'll guess, that was the full form for GPT. And there are multiple models that we have currently for GPTs. There are ongoing models. That the very first one that we had received, as you must be aware about, was the Chat GPT. Again, the conversational interaction that we used to have with an intelligence which was created by our own self, by entire data that was accumulated, and responses were gathered, training was trainings were performed, and it was equipped in a way as if we are talking to a human behavior. That is a polished version for the generative, pre-trained, transformative elements that we get today. Then we'll be moving further with the AI agent. Okay, any AI agent, let's suppose you have to create an itinerary to travel to, let's say, uh, since it's very summer here, so most probably the mountain regions. So you want to set up an agent which will iterate all the specific places at a particular hill station and provide you a 3-day itinerary with your travel plan, with your stay plan, and the hot places or the top notch trending places over that place with the cafe hopping and everything. So this is possible through an agent giving the specific instructions that you want. We'll catch up in that, and then moving further, we'll be having the positive elements that we are able to fetch from the AI agent. The positive elements that will be able to fetch from the AI agents elements. And then comes the part which we should never, you know, we should always take into consideration that whenever we are available digitally, we should be aware about what all elements can disrupt or harm the information that you are adding, or how can you protect your data all over the internet. Having uh, understanding about the security landscapes. By security landscapes means the pointers or the places or the elements that are vulnerable to the outsource over the internet. Then definitely, when AI provides multiple pros, it should be a responsible AI as well, because until and unless you are sure about having the elements that you want to create, it should be in ethical way. It should not disrupt the code of ethics while utilizing artificial intelligence, because it is a powerful tool that can make or break at elemental stage as well as at the coding binary level. Okay, so let's move. As stated, to start creating any particular agent, you require a platform which Azure will be providing, and it has two elements. Not only two, there are plenty of resources that you will be able to access to while you are with the Azure services. One of those is the AI Foundry, and the next we have hub and resource creation. So when you are supposed to create an agent, it requires you to add in the instructions, pull in all the resources that you require to stabilize and generate by utilizing the in process. available data that has been accumulated and provided you in the resources set of Azure itself. So when you get into that, you'll be able to see all the information regarding your resource utilization, your search values, and the subscription level that you are having. Along with that, you have the accessibility. Usually, we say the identity at which you'll be able to perform things and you have access to. Subscription levels can be on descriptive as well as individual tasks. So, utilizing which you'll be able to find that AI resources provide multiple platforms to create your instructions, set of instructions, add it into the training base, or utilizing the already available training base like the face recognition or the AI services or the language linguistics. These are all the trained services that are available already in the Azure services under AI machine learning part. So with Azure AI Foundry, you get all these elements stating stating the set of instructions which you want to give. Second, the database that you can directly hop into as per your requirement of the agent. Either you are creating an agent for a conversational purpose, or you are creating an agent for the facial recognition and understanding what this particular flower, or say this particular fruit is called. So all those databases already been trained through the LLMs, and it has been added in the Azure resources, AI machine learning resources itself, and you can get it and add under your resource utilization. So when I talk about resource utilization category, the other part that we have is the hub, creating your subscription level, your resource elements, and the databases and the value set of instructions in one place will help you generate a hub. That's why it is called an AI hub, which holds on to your all elemental phases that are required while creating an outcome or the product that will be your agent. So this is the central platform for AI model and agent management. It will be providing you the streamlined deployment and monitoring. So when we talk about streamlined deployment, at that point, when you have all the resources already fetched and available in your hub, integrating that with your AI Foundry element. AI Foundry will provide you the base, the surface level, that is the SDKs, the development kits that are already available in it. Along with small set of code, you'll be able to integrate both, and you'll be able to deploy that small set of instructions along with the resources that you have already catered, and have an agent available for your testing. And the speciality over here is you'll be able to monitor each and every streamlined input that you'll provide, and that monitoring allows you to access all the requests and responses. If you're making that agent live for people, or you have gathered or catered it for specific audience, then you'll be able to monitor what kind of request and responses it should generate, and through that helps you to scale up as well as to enhance the learning databases that are already integrated into the resource that you have utilized. So utilizing or creating your agents via Foundry, AI Foundry, Azure AI Foundry will get you a heads up by catering all your elemental concerns, along with providing you an enhanced database of requests and responses. Access to resources, data sets, and model registry. As we talked about, that it will be providing you all the elemental basis. Along with that, you need not have to think about multiple resources to gather, then data sets to create, and then you have to then creating a model utilizing all that data set that you have. So that's why AI Foundry, it's a go-to hub. Create your hub and get into the AI Foundry, and you'll be able to, uh, with certain amount or say lines of code, you will be able to create your agents. We'll get into what line of codes you can have. Before that, let's, whatever theoretical I have talked about, we can say it, see it through a visual representation, and what exactly agents component includes, and what all inputs we are supposed to give. So here, if you can see, it is present as a bot image, the agent, and the model that you are working on, like we were speaking about face recognition or the code snippet search, even that is a separate model that is available under the resources under Azure AI machine learning. So all those models you can resources you can get up and add into to your model with the certain level of instructions, how your agent should respond, what kind of queries it should accept and what it should not. To protect yourself, you can customize it on your own and create your own agent. In the background, what happens is, on the UI surface that you'll be able to see a user message that we as a user usually put into. Let's take an example of Bing search or Copilot inputs that we usually add while communicating with the generative uh, pre-trained resources. Yeah, definitely. After this session or discussion, you are never going to say GPT as it is. You are definitely going to add the generative pre-trained transformation that you might take along. Okay, coming back, uh, you give an input, or we as a user give an input, the user message that we usually type. Say, create an give me a list of multiple, say, stops or cafes from Rishikesh, the top specific cafes from Rishikesh. So what happens in the background? That query that you have given, it has elemental words. Every elemental word. Say, let's pick up Rishikesh, then the cafes, then top 10 or top 3. So here the take it through the SEO that we usually take into picture, and get into all the databases, all the information present around, fetch all the keywords that you were able to access. Based on that, you have multiple models and function calling in the backend that is working for your search in what, milliseconds, microseconds of time. So that is what is happening at the backend when you add your query or your message or your prompt. Prompt will be somewhat a subjective term which actually works on the keywords, the elemental keywords, like we were talking, the elemental keywords that you have added in the example query of top cafes in Rishikesh. So when you write a prompt, that is more of subjective and precise towards your goal, that we can say that will be a goal prompt. So when a prompt is added, it is very clear and crisp that this is my requirement and I want this. There is no how, what, basis, like this or that. That is very, uh, say, a noun rather than a pronoun. Okay. So the tools that are working in the background, the resources that you have collected from your already present databases, or say the APIs that were already present to fetch the information, all those function calling and interpretation takes place in the background, utilizing which resource set you have added towards your agent. Then post that, it generates a message, it provides to the agent, an agent pops up with the information, and then you can go on communicating with, as per your requirements, if it has been catered or more precise information that particular agent will require. So this is the higher level version of agents and establishment of your query, model, and instructions that are required to give you a precise working component which works as per your instructions. Okay, now when you are supposed to deploy all that resources and instructions gathered, added to the foundry, and now the part comes where you have to pick up the model which you want for your resources and your set of instructions to work, because it differs, and usually that we use, or most profoundly that is being utilized, is GPT 4 not. There are multiple versions available. There is 3.5, there is 3, 4.1, these versions. But what differences these version holds is basically much more enhanced, or say a scalable version, which is much more trained over the responses and requests that are catered from around targeted audience, or a specific prompts that were received, or the databases that were available to train those particular models. And out of those, the prominent and the core intelligent engine that we have is named as, should I say it again, generative, okay, now GPT 4 not model, or say the core intelligent engine. It handles the conversations, the task execution, and reasoning. Why it is the core intelligence? Because it is not just the conversational or text to transfer element, it also gives you that human behavioral with its responses, that you get hold of all the elements with this particular model. Scalable and manageable in Azure. Definitely, it is scalable and manageable, because in Azure we are having ample of resources that are been already trained, or the resources that we can fetch information from, whether we say face APIs that we have, or the custom vision, or the computer visions that we hold, then the language, then definitely Azure has its open AI that is already trained on the actual convenient data that is available, or whatever information any particular user is being added. Any one of us will be adding on it and fetching our information. This is what I require. Only thing that uh, is needed to create your query to a prompt that works efficiently over these models. Then other resources that we have, the AI search that we can integrate. That AI search is already being catered with all the cached information that are the most searched element around. Then bot services are also included in the resource set, so that you can add, and that allows you to scale your current agent to a level where your agent is going with the services that usually a chatbot can provide. Then content moderators, document intelligence, whichever PDF format or whichever format you upload, you are capable of gathering the summarized valuation from these models. So that comes from document intelligence, that is again a database trained on reading out the documents and precisely picking up all the paragraphs that are either highlighted or the elements that have been added with a matrix around it. Then translators, definitely translator is one of the best elements that agents are capable of, and they're providing us. And creating a translating agent as your first model will be definitely a plus point, whether you are watching any of the anime series and you are unable to find the dubbed versions, then that will help. No, I'm not giving any kind of elemental resources or example. Mm, Jokes apart, that is not to be used for such purposes. Other analytical tools that we usually get into: data shares, the Databricks evaluation, the analytical tools that we have that can be used and integrated in it. Computational tools, again, we have. Uh, so those can be integrated, and you can create your own GPT model, generative, pre-trained, transformative model that you can. Moving further, as we have been talking about the AI agent with specific instructions and tools, this is one small set of uh, lines code that you require to put into your agent elemental structures. Say, suppose, let's suppose this, taking this example itself, uh, in agent, the agent that you have created, you have to just add all the resources part, the model name, and your instructions into it. So the here the name will be project client. Then you're creating that particular agent with it, the name that you have given to your agent, the model that you have been utilizing, and the instruction. Here they have taken a very precise, kind, you are an helpful agent. Whatever request you are getting, you should be responding in a very mannerism way of, yes, how can I help you? So that is what interpretive definition usually these instructions have, whatever instruction. That's why I mentioned, while creating your agents, you have to be under the code of ethics. You have to add ethical, transparent codes, nothing harmful, because this is kind of a special power that you are giving to your agent to run on the resources that you have added. And post that, you are creating a model that should be helpful rather than being the harmful elements that resource utilization should hold. Positives that we can see with this approach, we started with the positives, that definitely catering artificial intelligence and utilizing all the bundle of data sets, or say huge databases of queries that we already have, utilizing that to understand your queries, make it streamlined, and provide you the best reasonable answer ever, is what uh, an agent is providing you. The processing that all it is going on in background are the resources, the data set that it has been trained on. That is what LLMs are, large language models. All those LLMs, that is the largest, the biggest data set that is being trained, and that is coming forth from machine learning, the elemental machine learning and artificial intelligence. When we talk about, so artificial intelligence is basically the set of instructions that you are given on the already existing data sets, trained data sets that you have. So what it does, it is intelligent enough to cater all the information, all the data set, all the resources, all the LLMs that have the data, and provide you the best possible response out of elemental query that you have shared with it. And again, you need not have to manage any kind of underlying compute and storage. You are able to access it over Azure. Microsoft Azure is already providing the storage facility as well as the underlying computational resources that you might need for such heavy instructions. It is definitely an automatic tool that you're calling. Agent is just set of instructions that you have added. Once added, it goes on and on while scaling up and monitoring all the alerts as per your instructions, whichever you have added as per AI Foundry. If you want to monitor and you want to scale and want to enhance your existing agents, that is definitely possible. Also, it is a secure managed data. It definitely all the resources that are computed already in Azure, which Azure is providing, the machine learning resources that it has been providing. It it definitely comes up and allows you to have a secured data. Whenever security comes in terms, there are multiple, say, landscapes or say attack surfaces that comes up when we talk about initial level. Okay, let's move. Okay, responsible AI. When we say responsible AI, so how Microsoft is handling it, it has, as stated in one of the Microsoft documentation, commit, committed to advancement of AI driven by principles that put people first. So definitely it is providing you the elemental support and the code of ethics, transparency, data protection, all the elemental resources that you require to make your data simple and protected from entire attack surfaces that might occur. And since it has already provided you the capabilities of creating agents, it has given a code of conduct and code of ethics that you should be utilizing and should be having in picture while using the agent resources that you cater from this level. Okay, like we were talking about the security threats and attack surfaces. Whenever there is some new elemental forms that comes up on digital world, it comes with some loopholes, some points where that might break. Every logic, every code is never sanitized until and unless you have followed a code of ethics, the ethical values, or the sanity that particular instruction requires. Whichever query you are adding, there is a way where you can modulate a query and make it from harm less to harmful. So now we'll be discussing what all threats and attack surfaces comes up when we talk about artificial intelligence and utilizing resources in depth with artificial intelligence and prompting it into one of the agents that you will be creating. So what all threats, security threats it might lead to, and what kind of attack surfaces it usually opens. Okay, so first one, I've listed few here. We'll be discussing that as time permits. We'll be having a walkthrough upon the elements of it. First one that I have listed here is API endpoints vulnerabilities. Okay, when we talk about the term vulnerabilities, it is basically the loop or the hole, the loopholes that the weakness that we uh, come across in any particular application, and combining multiple APIs into your agents will definitely put a security threat over your agent. So at the attack surface that any what should we say, external entity, since we are following ethical code of conduct, so we won't be impacting our own application. But yeah, any external entity, I'm taking it as this external format might interrupt your existing agent, and any of the API utilizing any of the weakness present in your API on any of the endpoints and making a loophole into your agent and impacting those surfaces. So here the attack surface is the API, and the vulnerability that it could lead to, uh, and the vulnerabilities that it has could lead to security threat to your agent. This is what we understand when you talk about API endpoints vulnerability. There are multiple vulnerabilities for API as well, targeting the APIs that you might be utilizing, or for face recognition API calls, or the text simulation or the translation simulation API calls that you are targeting to. Maybe let's suppose it is one of those is vulnerable to um, clickjacking or prompting, or some XYZ vulnerability, and that the external entity gathers through the queries, and it is able to understand that okay, this particular agent might not be patched or fixed for this API, the X API vulnerability. Then that query can disrupt your internal resources if you haven't provided a sanity check to your application while adding the set of instruction codes. So definitely we'll be going forth and understanding how we can mitigate all these vulnerabilities. Take coming to second very common vulnerability that you may face, or attack surface that you may face, is authentication token leakages. This usually happens while providing responses to any particular of your query. As I mentioned, the query and prompt, there is a difference. The noun and the pronouns sections that comes up when you give a dedicatedly described goal, it provides you all the data. So you should have the positives and the negatives listed in your agent, or the set of instructions that you're providing, or the code that you're entering, to have a basis to differentiate between this is a positive query and this is a negative element. If you find such negative comments, then you should not respond, as you might have come across with the factors that while adding multiple queries that you usually add over say Copilot, or say ChatGPT, or any other GPT models, there you are unable to fetch information for certain queries because they are having elemental stage valuation that is strictly prohibited from their model or their set of instruction, because that might give you the information, or you might, or the external entity might be fetching in or poking in to get that particular resource with the version that you are already utilizing. So this, there is also a possibility of understanding the version that particular model is working on. Like we have seen GPT-4 model, GPT 3.5 model that is being utilized. So all these information can be gathered using the queries or the prompts, and ultimately leading to the leakage of that particular session. When we say authentication token leakage, this is what the elemental queries can get into. The another one, prompt injection risk, is similar to what we have discussed right away. That whatever prompt, or prompt, definitely prompt is a noun. I'm taking the pronoun noun concept here itself. when you enter a prompt, it gathers the exact information. So the negatives and the positives should be very clearly defined in your set, and uh, coming up, scaling every time, monitoring all the requests and responses helps here to protect your agents from the prompt injection risks. Then we have data input or output exposure. Definitely, whatever databases you are having, we know that SQL injection is a very common vulnerability. So how artificial intelligence models or AI agents can be vulnerable to such kind of vulnerabilities? That is something that a web application is having. And when you prompt on one of the forms with the SQL injection basic 1 equals to 1, then it gives you all the database values and information whichever is not been updated or sanitized before, or input validations have not been taken place. So definitely when you talk about data input or output exposure, you need to secure your attack surfaces. Here the attack surface will be the input elements that are being added into your agent as a query, or say the output that your agent is retrieving from all the resources should again be validated before providing. That this information, the confidential information, should not be presented to the user. So that's, I have been discussing the attack surfaces as well as the mitigations together. Next, what we have is tool or functional exploitation. Yes, if you are using any dedicated tool or any dedicated resource, those resources are also vulnerable. They have the security threats. They can convert your elemental stage to a security threat just because you are not having an updated version which was fixed with a particular bug fix. So monitoring your elemental stage resources that you have added and keeping updated with the patches that these resources or data sets or APIs are being applied to is necessary to maintain your agent in, what should I say, in a cyber hygienic space. Yes, another chance of agent corruption that is possible, it is the prompt injection is one of the major concerns when we talk about injecting or the external entity making utilizing your particular agent to fetch the data, exploit the attack surfaces, and threatening the agent. Let's take in this manner that your agent will be threatened with such elemental injections or just the prompt injections. Just a person who is prompting your particular agent with specific subjectual words that might incur that external entity with resource he or she has been targeting to. Then the text leaking, the input validation, it should be applicable on the agent. Output validation should also be applicable, because context can be leaked while using the prompts or the queries that have been listed, until and unless your model is trained or precisely instructed not to provide or give in response such and such confidential data. Then model misalignment. Let's suppose your model was initially trained to evidently have all the images, the image recognition elements, and there you have been providing different kind of textual interfaces. So that will fail in that way. But your model is definitely working on just on the state of disturbed or noises, the images that are having maximum noises. So that incurs their machine learning capability, the data that they have been trained on, and ultimately you are providing them poisoned or misaligned data, say an image which is having a lot of disturbances in the pixels, so that might misalign that model, and it will not be able to judge or provide you the information or the output. This usually happens while you are validating a captcha or a bot that has been validating, that has been applied on any application, while you log into it, and a very valid capture, valid verification that is being provided. So such all model misalignment may lead to confidential disintegrity, and your resources might be exploited. Poison data sources, this is the basic format, the data sources that we usually hold on to are being added or uploaded with unusual, harmful, discreted, noiseful data sources. If your agent resource or the data sets have been poisoned with such disturbances, if your data source is already poisoned with such elements, then the agent retrieval or response power will be nullified. It will not be able to differentiate between what output validation it has to provide. Session state manipulation, this again works along with the authentication token leakage that we talked about, surface attack surface that we have. So that through that attack, that surface level, this session manipulation takes place, and your authenticity for that particular agent might incur to the sensitive information that you are having. Yes, definitely breaching security components. The security components, the basic tried on which security works is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It might breach the component level resources. Firstly, targeting the authenticational flaws, like via prompt, if the output has been provided there without any validation, or the inputs that were allowed made resources fetch the session cookies or the authenticated tokens that were being used to get into your agent specifically for that particular time. The second, as I stated, poor input validation. Then secrets mismanagement, when you talk about encoding your elemental words in encoding into some base language, say 64 base encoded values, or any kind of password informations that you are having. If you're utilizing your agents for managing your secrets in encoded base format, so poisoning, when data poisoning happens to such agent resources, then these secrets might get mismanaged, and ultimately giving the text based information, the clear text information of all the passwords that you have been managing through your agents. So this is what secret mismanagement might occur. Unsafe tool access and model exploitation risks, these are the component level security that might get breached with. Okay, then here comes the part with which you can be safeguarded, or you can protect your agents or AI services that you have been providing. So securing your APIs with auth 2, or utilizing a secure protocol for all the uh, communication that is being taking place. Protect secrets, Azure Key Vault is another resource that we have, and it holds on to your elemental secrets in a way that is already been sanitized, and it cannot be exploited in that format. Then defend against prompt injection with the sanity and the validation. It definitely the Azure itself provides you that availability to safeguard your own agents. Then tool or function access control, infrastructure isolation. Whenever, if in case there is certain uh, behavior you have been utilizing, you have been monitoring for any particular service that you are providing via your agent, and you think that no, that this is something unusual behavior that is being monitored, then you have the capability to isolate that particular infrastructure, including all your resources and in fact the entire hub that was being utilized. So through that, what happens, your other subscriptions or the other hub or other resources or other projects that you have uh, does not get impacted. Then there are trusted libraries. There is no third party application that you might add into your code of instructions. So mitigation or best practices, definitely use trusted libraries, the resources or the vendors that that provide a library which, say, let's say the DLLs or the packages or the applications that are from genuine vendors and not from any third party application. And continuous penetration testing, best way to understand or mitigate all the threats or attack surfaces is penetrating your own resources, checking, marking that you are following the standards or not, the code, the ethics that have been listed. Is your agent appropriately standardized with all those with definite standards or not? It is incurred with penetration testing itself. So that should be a continuous process to maintain a cyber hygienic environment for your agent. We have definitely discussed about all these, the API security, prompt injection defense, then tools of functional security, infrastructure isolation, code dependency safety. Code dependency safety is basically some other JavaScript or say any other scripting language that you have been utilizing and prompting to get the information from live data. So that dependency should be like those API calls or those scripting, embedded scripting should be uh, safely added with a validation code. And then when we have identity access management, this comes with the subscription level that you are having. It has multiple resources as well as hub information. So what all say privileges that but one resource or the hub should be managed through this role management. And ongoing testing, definitely, as we talked about, testing over your code testing or your elemental penetration testing for your resources is one of one of the way you can make your AI agents secure. Yeah, now we come to an end. If you have any questions related to it.